So Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. So today is the 17th chapter. Last 2 days, did you all try to complete the quizzes? Are you all on dot?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Happy to hear. So let's start. These two are very important sessions. So before that, let's start off with Mangalacharna. Okay. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimurandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishamanusute Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivachadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Come on, all of you join. Hare Krishna
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 Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. So it's called the divisions of faith, and this is very important. It's called Shradhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Right? So these are called, so everything if you see in Bhagavad Gita, from the beginning, we saw classification of people called the Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Kanishthadhikari. Everywhere they talk about, what is the relationship. So the Uttamadhikari is also called Dhira, Siddhadir Muni, and, by various names, Mahatma and all. And in the 7th chapter, we already saw the, the Kanishthadhikari can be of 4 types, Artha, Jignashu, Arthati, Jnani, right? So basically, what are all these classifications? It's only based on the level of faith one has on God, right? So this is what we are talking about. So 17th chapter, let's see what Krishna is. Arjuna, as usual, enquest, right? So now Arjuna is asking about unauthorized worship, 7.1. Ye Shastra Vidim Utrishte. So what do you mean by unauthorized worship? How do we go about it? And Krishna answers the 3 modes also determine one's faith. 2 to 7, try with the Bhavati Shraddha, right? The faith, also the modes play a role. 14th chapter, we saw, right, how modes dominate, how they take a role upon birth, upon death, right, upon living, how do they do? So this is very important, the 5 things, right? Foods, sacrifices, 3 kinds of austerity, and austerity in 3 modes, and charity in 3 modes. These 5, how modes influence. Ayu, Sattva, Balarogya, right? How foods have an influence. Apalakan, Shibir, Yagno, or Yagno means sacrifices. Pujanam, Saucham, Arjamam. Saucham means cleanliness. Pujanam, so basically it means austerities. Pidaya, Kriyate, Tapaha. Again, all tapas and all that what you call is austerity only. They say Kalecha, Patrecha, the charity, right? Patre comes from the charity, right? So Om Tat Sat, what do you mean by that? So typically sacrifice, charity and austerity, when should we stop? Right? It says iti nirdeshu. That means should be always offered and it never should be stopped, irrespective of whichever level you are in. So yes, you all can start reading and you can take turns, ma'am.
Hare Krishna. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what is the situation of one who does not follow the principles of scriptures but worships according to his own imagination? Is he in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance? Hare Krishna.
Typical example is many of them, will say, why should I follow Bhagavad Gita? Maybe what's wrong? I can do like this. Who told you cannot give coffee to Krishna? I will drink whatever you want me to eat should be prasad, right? So let me keep coffee. So they concoct their own religion, right? But what happens is Everything has a process, right? So if somebody is doing medicine, you have to give anesthesia half an hour before surgery. If they say that, why? I will give previous day itself. I always believe in doing things much early. So why should I do half an hour before? I will give 1 day before. Is it going to work? Or if you tell that, why half an hour before? Someone comes and tells, everything I believe in last moment. Okay, just before I cut, I will do 1 second before. So both makes logic when you talk, but if you think deeply on the logic, it's stupidity, right? So same way, if someone is concocting his own religion, that is also stupidity. So Hare Krishna 17.2. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Traividya Bhavati Shraddha Dehinam Sa Swabhavaja Satviki Rajasi Chaiva Tamasi Cheti Tham Shrinu. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, slide is not visible.
Not visible?
No.
It's visible to me,
It's
Mataji.
visible to
It's
me.
visible over there.
To me also.
No?
Yeah, now it's visible.
Okay.
The Supreme Lord said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: goodness, passion, and or ignorance. Now hear about these. According to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one involves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, so very clearly, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith, right? So clearly he says that according to the existence, right? So based on what is, so it doesn't mean that, so coming to two things, one is the modes, right? Somebody gets a particular mode based on whether it's goodness, passion, or ignorance, based on one's desire, right? Now again, various modes play a particular part. So both are interlinked, right? Based on your karma, you get a body. Like that, modes play based on that. And again, the interchangeable thing is now based on that in turn, your faith also is there. So it looks very much interlinked. So we'll see how it changes also. So just to have a quick look on this, you see karmis, they are more rajas, right? Karmis are what, like, I want to become more. I want to become richer, right? So these are the karmi and they go to swarga, right? Swarga loka is 7. Now, if you're talking about jnanis, right? So they are in the mode of goodness, right? So, and they are aiming at liberation, or they may aim at, Brahma Jyoti mainly. So they are definitely Satvika Guna, but they also don't reach Krishna because they become very complacent and then they are focused on Brahma Jyoti. So what is the actual aim? Trividya Vishya Veda, Gunya Bhavarjuna, Nidvando Nitya Saktasto, Niryoga Kshema Atmaman. That means Suddha Sattva, rise among the three modes, which is Rajas, Sattva, and Tamas. Tamas is not there in the circle. So that is Bhakti, and then get Prema, and then go to Krishna, and then go to Krishna Loka. So this is a route map of the Suddha Sattva, right? So this is exactly what we are telling. And therefore, he is telling race about the mode. So he is clearly telling, based on the birth, this will be determined. Of course, we saw in Rigari's story how you can change also. Krishna 17.4. Yajante satvika devan yaksharakshamissi rajasaha pretan bhuta ganam shantye yajante tamasajanaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons. And those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits.
So very nicely. So in the mode of goodness, demigods, right? So all the Devata worshippers are also that, because in the 4th chapter, Krishna very clearly tells Arjuna, what I will reward accordingly to the extent people are devoted to me. So Arjuna says, okay, Krishna, but what about those who worship demigods? Don't worry, I've created Varnashram so that they will get purified. They are currently worshipping demigod to get quick results. So he is now bringing that back. So all that also now that's in the 4th chapter he told. Later he says that whoever wants to worship demigod, I'm the one who gives remembrance. We saw that, right? In 15.15 also, Krishna is the one who gives remembrance. So he is now telling that anyone in the mode of goodness prays demigods also. But those who play demons are what? Why do they pray demons? So somebody goes to a politician and say, sir, you are great. Why would someone say? So that he gets something out of it, right? So he says that that is the mode of passion, right? They worship the demons. Hiranyakashipu, all the jingbags to Hiranyakashipu or Ravana are all because they are in the mode of passion. And somebody in the mode of ignorance, right, are into worshippers. We spoke, right? Black magic, ghost, spirits, all that is this character. right? The OSHA board or whatever you call it. So you can see. Hare Krishna, 17.5 and 6. Yes.
Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride, egotism, lust, and attachment, who are impelled by passion and who torture their bodily organs as well as the super soul dwelling within are to be known as demons. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly, those who undergo severe austerities and penances, right? So somebody who does so much of austerity, penance, all this are there in the scriptures, performing them out of pride, egoism, lust, attachment. All of them who are impelled by passion. What do they do? They actually torture the bodily organs so much, because nowhere in Shastras it said that you have to torture your body, because your body itself is a gift from Krishna, right? It's a body is like borrowed, right? So let's say that I'm going and telling Purba, can you please lend me your car? And Purba says, no problem, you can have. And suppose I go and bang the car, hit it here, hit it there, okay, and then give it to Purba. Is that right? Because that day when she told me, okay, she told me treat it as your own car. So I'm telling you all, hey, she told me to treat it as my own car. So therefore I'll go and bang it. Is that right?
No, Mataji.
Right. So therefore this body is given by Krishna to us for us to manage our desires. Right. So it's a gift from God, whichever it is. Even if the body is a pig's body, it's because we wanted that desire. Now, if we go around running around here and there and doing all the things to hurt our body, that's not accepted. So here is Hiranyakashipu and Ravana. They did such horrible austerities, and along with us, we are hurting Krishna also, and that's not allowed in the Shastras. So that's totally prohibited. Hare Krishna. Yes, 17.8 and 10.
Hare Krishna. Foods in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such nourishing foods are sweet, juicy, fattening, and palatable. Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, pungent, dry, and hot are liked by people in the modes of passion. Such foods cause pain, distress, and disease. Food cooked more than 3 hours before being eaten, which is tasteless, stale, putrid, decomposed, and unclean, is food liked by people in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you can see whatever, right? Mode of goodness. The food is like this, very sattvic, right? The typical marriage food. So it's very bland. It's not very spicy. It's very juicy, cheesy. That kind of a food. The very look of the food will make your stomach full. So the second, of course, it has a lot of juices, fruits, and all that. Milk items, curd. So the second kind of food is burning, like typical Andhra food. I later realized Punjabi food is also very spicy. So I'm Telugu, so I can claim to be Andhra, and I'm sure some Punjabi is here also. Isn't it spicy? Over spicy, as you eat, eyes keep watering and you keep, sniffing most of the time than eating. So that is in the mode of passion. And the stale food, which is kept in the fridge and we eat now, which has become the current trend, is actually very unclean. Because if you see, after 1 or 2 days, you can see the worm in your eye, which means that the first day itself, you can start seeing these worms which are not clear and visible for the eye. That's meant for people in the mode of 7.11.
Of sacrifices that sacrifice performed according to duty and to spiritual rules and with no expectation of reward is of the nature of goodness. Hare Krishna.
So, of the sacrifices performed according to the duty and scriptures rules with no expectation, right? So there's absolutely no expectation. Example, you're doing yagna. Have you ever said, oh Krishna, I'm going to do 1 extra round. Give me 2 marks extra. Does anyone do chanting like that? Hare Krishna?
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
No,
I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just saying the moment you start expecting, then it will become mode of passion. But currently, if you just do it as it is, then it becomes mode of goodness. Hare Krishna. 17.12.
But that sacrifice performed for some material end or benefit or performed ostentatiously out of pride is of the nature of passion, O chief of the Bharatas.
So the same example I told, Krishna, I will do 1 more round extra, but give me extra marks. It's not wrong, but then it is with intention of a material bargain. Mostly you'll see the prayers to devatas and demigods are like this, like give me this, I will hit, especially, with Ganesha, I will give you 5 coconuts, if this happens. Right? Did Ganesha tell you to give coconuts, or is he short of coconuts? But no, we ourselves assume, and as if, 5 coconuts is like really, he's waiting for us. I will give you 5 coconuts, okay? Please ensure that I get good marks, right? It's a business transaction. So, or if someone does out of pride, what do you want? Okay, I know, some of them who donate for the child, right? Which is not, it's a very good habit, charity, because it makes them good. But what they will do is they will take, this is the child which I donate. Now imagine if the girl child goes up and sees this picture. I only gave you food. I only gave you studies. Won't the person feel embarrassed, right? So these are things which they do for the sake of name. Hare Krishna, 17.30.
Hare Krishna. And the
Sorry, Vinay.
sacrifice performed in defiance of scriptural injunctions, in which no spiritual food is distributed, no hymns are chanted, and no remuneration are made to the priest, and which is faithless, that sacrifice is of the nature of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
If there is no priest or no food offered, and especially if there is no payment to the priest, you get OC free, then you can't even tell this as a proper move. Now, can anyone guess the picture? Who's this person? He's Bhashmasura, where he takes a benediction from Shiva. And Shiva is a very kind-hearted soul. He will give benediction to everybody, when he sees they are struggling. So Bhashmasura says that he will kill himself unless he gets a benediction, that he puts his hand on the top head of anyone, they become Bhashma. Now with this benediction, what happens is he likes Shiva's wife and he tries to put his hand on top of Shiva itself. Has anyone heard of such a thing? Imagine, you tell your friend, hey, I want to cut an apple, and you borrow an apple and you go and cut her bag or something. How weird, right? So that's typically what he's doing. Now, this is not just an apple and a bag, it's more than that. So you can imagine what kind of a person, these guys are. Hare Krishna. Deva Dvija Guru Raja Pujanam Sauchamajavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsacha Sharinam Tapa Uchyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The austerity of the body consists in this worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual masters, and superiors like the father and mother. Cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence are also austerities of the body. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly the austerity of the body, right? We all know, right? Saucham itself is cleanliness. So what do? You worship the God. You worship all the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, all the superiors, father, mother. So this is one thing. This is the austerity which we follow. Second thing is cleanliness, inside, outside. Being simple. Simple means you're very straightforward and you tell, the truth even to your enemies. That kind of simplicity. Example, Yudhishthira. He would go and tell the truth to anyone. Doesn't matter what is happening. So these are people who are absolutely simple. Celibacy, right? Which you maintain, right? Single. Nowadays, people say I'm single, but you have 10 girlfriends. That's not celibacy. Celibacy by not just by status of marriage, but by body. Non-violence means 2 things. Ahimsa, we already have done in detail. So non-violence is just not to yourself, but also thinking does not affect. In Kali Yuga, it only applies to what you act. However, thinking results in action. So we should maintain that kind of austerity. And simplicity also, imagine Parikshit is an example, right? Very honestly, he looked at the father and said, Father, you are a great Rakshasa, but however, Vishnu is the greatest of all. So that's the level of simplicity, right? Very straightforward, nothing else. Hare Krishna. Anudvega karam bhakyam satyam priyahitam chaya swadhyaya vyasanam chaiva manmayam tapa uchyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Austerity of speech consists in speaking truthfully and beneficially, and in avoiding speech that offends. One should also recite the Vedas regularly.
So we have seen this, right? Austerity of the speech. We are talking about we just spoke, right? Honesty, austerity. How is because you don't speak offending. That's also another very important thing. 17.16. Hare Krishna.
And serenity, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purity of thought are the austerities of the mind.
Clearly, serenity, simplicity, gravity. These are things related to mind, right? So it's not just austerity of the body, but that of our mind. So the picture behind, can you see this blue color boy, is that of Sukadev Goswami. We've been reading this whole Bhagavatam, was written by Vyasa, but his son Sukha was the one who told Parikshit. Now, what is the relationship? When Sukha was in the stomach of his mom, right? So story type. So I will go. Hare Krishna. So when Sukadev was in the stomach, right, in the body of his mother, Vasudeva was telling the story. He heard entire Bhagavatam and he decided, oh my God, I should not come out because this world is horrible and I don't want to get connected to the material world. I want to go back to the spiritual world. He refused to come for 16 years, and Vyasa goes all the way, to Dwaraka, requesting Krishna, please come, and ask my son to come out. And Krishna gives a benediction. He says, even if you come out, you will not at any time get materially inflected. So as soon as he's born, he doesn't want to stay. He's running off. He just wants to leave everyone and run away. So that is the picture. And he sees, I will go back to the picture. You see some girls taking bath. They are undressed or underdressed. And they don't care about Sukha. Because just imagine if there is a 1-year child, right, in the room, or a 6-month child. Will we be cautious? Will you take a towel or something and tie the eye of the child, or you just take bath and just change? Hare Krishna.
Just take bath and change.
Yeah, because we know that the baby is very small, that it doesn't really differentiate and does not think anything the way you think. And the same thing applies to animals or kids. So we feel there is a lot of innocence, right? Whereas Vyasa is also very elevated, right? He is the incarnation of Krishna himself, but the difference is that he is the Grahastha. Grahastha means married, right? So obviously he knows the difference between female and male. So what happened is the moment he came, even though Sukha was a young, handsome 16-year boy, and the girls were also typically 15, 16, young girls, they were not bothered about Sukha because these girls were also very elevated. So they could make out he was innocent. But when Vyasa came, they immediately grabbed the outfit and, they wanted to cover themselves up. Why? Because they felt he was a grahastha and he can differentiate between man and woman. Hare Krishna. Shradhaya paraya taptam tapastatrividam narai aphala kankshi viruttai satvikam parichakshate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This threefold austerity practiced by men whose aim is not to benefit themselves materially but to please the Supreme is of the nature of goodness. Hare Krishna.
So very clearly, the austerities which are practiced, they are not for material benefit, but they want to satisfy the Krishna. For example, Vrindavan Parikrama. Vrindavan Parikrama, Govardhan Parikrama is I think it has a radius of, a circumference of about 17 kilometers approximately. I don't know the exact figure. So that people go, on a walk. So that is what they do on a Vrindavan, which is called Govardhan. Govardhan Hill, which Krishna at the age of 6 was holding in his small little finger. That place. That's in Vrindavan. And Mayapur, I recently went in the month of October, where these are called Navadip, 9 small islands. So you can actually go on boats, and it's like Parikrama. So each island by itself is very sacred. Hare Krishna. Satkaramana pujaratam tapodambena chaivaya kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalam adhruvam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Those ostentatious penances and austerities which are performed in order to gain respect, honor, and reverences are said to be in the mode of passion. They are neither stable nor permanent. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. These penances and austerities which are performed, why are they performed? Many of them tend to do it for the sake of respect, honor. I am the head of the village and therefore, I'll give you this money, or I'll do this because I need to, gain power. Many people will tell, no, I should get the first respect in the temple. These are not stable because it keeps changing and they are neither permanent. Hare Krishna. Muda grahena atmanah yad pidaya kriyate tapah parasyo chadanatam va tatthamasam udharitam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And those penances and austerities which are performed foolishly by means of obstinate self-torture or to destroy or injure others are said to be in the mode of ignorance.
Classic example is killing, a child or an innocent person, or yagna, whatever you do, bali, even if it is an animal, right? Like a hen or chick. What is it good? Has Krishna asked for these sacrifices? No, no. These penances and austerities were performed foolishly by self-torture or inflicting pain to somebody else. That is totally in the mode of ignorance and not supported at all. Hare Krishna. 17.20. Datavyam iti yad dhanam यते अनुपकारिणे देशे काले च पात्रे च तदानं सात्विकं स्मृतम्. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. That gift which is given out of duty at the proper time and place to a worthy person and without expectation of return is considered to be charity in mode of goodness. Hare
Now we're
Krishna.
going to see charity, and charity also has goodness, passion, and ignorance. So charity in the right time, right place, right person is very important. You may see how in the next slide you will have clarity. I'm just going back to the story as I told you earlier once. Remember birthday. These days, we are talking about what gift did you buy me? Hey, you got something nice for me. Hey, get me this also. No gift. This has become the trend. But those days, Nand Maharaj during Janmashtami of Krishna, he used to give away 1 lakh cows, which are not just ordinary cows, but used to decorate them completely jeweled every year on year, to the right brahmanas, suitable brahmanas, right? So it's called the proper place, time, and person. So such used to be charity, and that should never be stopped. 17.21 Hare Krishna. Yattu pratyupakaratham Kalam uddishya va punahu diyate cha pariklishtham tathanam raja samskritam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. But charity performed with the expectation of some return or with the desire for fruitive results or in a grudging mood is said to be charity in the mode of passion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I don't know if I told you all, but sometime back, this I'm from Chennai, and we had this COVID floods affecting a few months back. So we all decided we'll make some idli and pongal uniformly. Normally, each of them make different packets, and food, when it goes to people, they get different items. So there was a huge vessel kept in the apartment conference hall so that we drop. There were few who did, few didn't do, but there were those who didn't do, came down to see what happened. The typical gossip team, what cars broke, what happened, so all that. And invariably, they were the one who were taking selfies, right? Now, not doing charity, another extreme. On top of it, taking selfies. Now, genuinely also you're doing, look at this case. Just imagine, a situation where Simran is going to Kushi and telling, hey, I don't have a pen, just a normal thing. Can you lend me a pen? And Kushi says, hey, no problem. You can take this pen and keep it for yourself. Maybe you can't afford one. You can keep it. And just imagine Kushi taking a photo, selfie with Simran, telling, I have given her one pen. She can't afford a pen. And sending it in the website to everyone. How will Simran feel?
She will feel bad.
Not good, man.
Right? Because already, see, pen is a very light example, right? Actually speaking. But if you're going to lend it to somebody who has and she's forgotten, she's fine. But if she really can't afford a pen, she'll be like literally burning. Because first of all, asking for alms itself is something not very happy. Hey, give me some money, huh? It's not like that, right? So, someone has to kill the self-respect, even if it is little bit, please give money. It's just begging. And begging is not something which the beggar also enjoys. Now, on top of it, he is already humiliated. Now he tells, can I take a selfie? He can't tell no. He can't obviously tell no because it's very, he feels that, it's worth it. And second thing is he'll not give the food also otherwise, right? So imagine he's taking the food and this entire family photo is floating everywhere in the net. How they'll feel. And if they have relatives, friends, right? They'll feel really bad. So these are the things which people do in the mode of passion. Adeshakale yat danam apatrebhyascha diyate asatkritam avajnatmam tattamasam udharitam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And charity performed at an improper place and time and given to unworthy persons without respect and with contempt in charity in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Proper time, place, and person. So you may ask, why person? Why is Mataji or ma'am talking about person here? It can be given to anybody. Okay, this guy wants some weed. Shall we give him? That's also charity. We want something. Giving something is charity. So he wants weed. So we're not giving weed, we'll give him money, right? So this is why you should be very clear. And this 17.23 talks about Om Tat Sat. And we already saw Om. Om is the very important concept where every shloka starts with Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Suklam Vardhanam Vishnum Sashivardham Sadir Om. So everything, right? So even Gayatri Mantra, everything starts with Om, right? Om Bhud Bhuar. So everything, typically every single mantra starts almost with Om. So that is the starting word. So 17.23, please go ahead and read. Hare Krishna.
From the beginning of creation, the three syllables Om Tat Sat have been used to indicate the supreme absolute truth, Brahman. They were uttered by Brahmanas while chanting Vedic hymns and during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme.
So we just spoke, right? It's been said those days, and including Tat and Sat. So what is Tat, right? And what is Sat? So Brahma, when he came, the first word he said is Tapa, right? It's all started. So let's see what he is saying about this. So we saw about Om. So let's see a little more about Om, and you can go ahead and read 17.24. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thus, the transcendentalist undertakes sacrifices, charities, and penances, beginning always with Om to attain the Supreme. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So all this starts with Om, which I told. Om iti etam brahmo nedi notha nama, right? It says that in the Vedas. Om means Vishnu, right? Om actually means Vishnu, and it is placed at the beginning of the Vedic mantras, which is what we saw. So Om represents Vishnu, and even if you take the spelling of A-U-M, A represents Krishna, M represents Radharani, and U, Ukaram, right, represents us, Jivatma. And this one is going to talk about Tat, Om Tat Sat, right? So Tat is going to talk about it. 25. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. One should perform sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word Tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from the material entanglement. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Tat Tattvam Asi, right? Chandogya Upanishad. What is Tat described? Detached word for the sake of liberation. These activities are done with disregard for materialism. So anything which is done, so sacrifice, penance, charity, all this with the word Tat means, I am not, Tatvamasi is the word, where, you say this is all done for transcendental purpose and nothing for the sake of, for sense gratification, which means that I want a car, I want a house, we don't use this. So these are all with the intention of liberation. Now we're going to see about Sat, 26 and 27.
Hare Krishna. The absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word Sat. These works of sacrifice, of penance, and of charity, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person, O son of Partha.
Son of Pritha. Partha is Arjuna, so he's talking about Pritha. Correct? Krishna. Sat eva saumya Chandopanishad 6.2.1. So Sat means eternal, which is permanently there, and we know that is why Krishna is called Satchidananda Vigraha, right? Ishwaraha Parama Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarva Karana Karanam. So Satchidananda, Sat means eternal, permanent, and even the us, the small mini Atmas, right? The Chipku souls are also eternal. The activities done for the service of Lord reveal the true spiritual nature. That is only the true relationship. In that activity is eternal, and the activities are also eternal. The performer also is eternal, and the benefits are also eternal. Okay, it will be so confusing, right? So let me just tell you. In the 6th chapter, we read this in the 6.47. Papa punya krita klota uchitva shashvata samaha suchiman shimatan deke loko vashtaya abhijayate. Means what? Papam and punyam, whoever has done even little bit. So what happens? There is also a shloka earlier which says even swalpam apyasya dharmasya prayate bhagatobhya, which means even little bit if you do something for Krishna, he will remember, and let's say 20% you have done, your next janma will start at 21%. And the 6.47 tells that somebody who's failed, in the yoga and is not able to take it forward, he will be born in a transcendental family, in a Brahmana family, or in a Shriman, which means in a rich family. Example is all of us, right? Do we have to go out on the road, wash 4 vessels and mop the floor and only get food? Or does the food get delivered to you on the table by your mom or dad, whatever?
Delivered to us.
Yes. So we are all in a comfortable family. See, for us, aristocratic family means we will be thinking of diamond necklace, diamond ring, diamond things. No, that's also one, but then that's not what I'm talking. What I'm talking about is Shriman means wealthy enough that we don't have to run our basic lives, right? You don't have to work for 2 hours to get your next meal, because then you may not even have time for Krishna. So Krishna gives you that elevated position, and that so any activity done, life after life becomes eternal. So the account gets accumulated, right? Whereas if your bank balance, can you say that, okay, I'm going to have a bank balance of 1 crore and I die, can anyone carry forward that balance in your next birth? You only worked hard. No, can't do, right? Whereas anything spiritual, it becomes spiritual. Whoever does, example, all of you all are chanting, right? So when you're chanting, the chanting is, though your mouth is transcendent, is material, it has a power to make it spiritual. Speaker becomes spiritual, listener becomes spiritual. That's why they say all these activities are eternal and gets transcendental, right?
But sacrifices, austerities, and charities performed without faith in the Supreme are non-permanent. O son of Pritha, regardless of whatever rites are performed, they are called asset and are useless both in this life and the next. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So Vaishnavi is here. So I'm going to tell Vaishnavi, you know, you're very nice. I like you very much. I trust you 98%, right? Vaishnavi, you can also unmute. So if I say, you know, you can, yeah. So 98% I trust you, Vaishnavi. So what will be your answer?
I want 100% trust.
Thank you so much. Why 100%? 98%. So what's happening is, just as a person, right? 2 relationships, we met for 17 days, right? Even then, what is her ask, right? She's telling that 98% trust, I'm happy. Thank you so much. No, I want 100% trust. Right, and likewise, even I will tell this. Even if she said 99.9%, I would say, what happened to the 0.01%? Right, because trust is where we can't afford this. But whereas if a teacher tells you, okay, Vaishnavi, I'll give you 98%, right? Perhaps she will, even if she's a centum taker, she'll tell, okay, I'm happy. Then she'll think, where I lost 2 marks, that's fine. But then she'll be happy, right? So that is about relationship. That's about faith, and that applies to Krishna also, right? So even in material world, even a 99% faith means that 1% of lack of faith we don't accept. But spiritually, Krishna, little bit faith also, Krishna is so open-minded. But what he says is, all these austerities, charities, if you do not have faith, then, you know, it becomes non-permanent. So we had a conversation. We read Bhagavatam at 5:15. So there was one Mataji who was asking me, Radhika, you know, we are doing this Bhagavatam reading. We are doing all of this with an intent that we go to Goloka Vrindavan, right? A place which we have not seen, a place which we have not been to. What is the guarantee, you know, the future lies there? So I told that, agreed, but what guarantee we have in the rest of the future? You know, she's got an awesome husband. So I was telling her, you believe that your husband is going to take care. I'm not saying it's bad, but what if the husband sees some nice, very beautiful lady and she changes? I mean, can we really tell that it will not happen? Or, you know, something touch wood should not happen, but I mean, with an accident, something happens. So we don't know, right? It may not be permanent. So we only keep thinking. So we are actually investing so much of time and energy for the non-permanent things, which we think is permanent. But for something which is permanent, right? We keep thinking, you know, I'm so busy. I have books, I have exams. Definitely exams are important. But how long is it going to take? Tell one time Hare Krishna mantra. One round of chanting will not take more than 5 minutes. That 5 minutes, do we forego brushing our teeth, washroom, bath? Maybe bath you guys may skip because of exam. But then do you even forego combing your hair, taking breakfast, the 5-minute work? So add another 5 minutes and just get that done, right? So that's what he says. And what he says, regardless of whatever is the situation, however elevated, they don't do. Example, Prabhupada was elevated, he did chanting. Who else? Our Haridas Thakur used to chant so long, right? Almost 3 lakh times he used to chant. We have a challenge in chanting 108 times, but he used to chant, one mala used to chant 3 lakh times. So these are the greatness. So with this, we are coming to the end of the 17th chapter. Tomorrow, I just have a request. I want all of you to bring a paper and a pencil or a pen. It is not that I'm going to give you a test, but it's a self-evaluation. So if you come with a paper, pencil, it will be a workshop kind, which will be interesting. Even otherwise, I will take, but you will miss the actual good part of it, right? Arjuna's inquiry about, a quick summary of 17 is Arjuna's inquiry about unauthorized worship, and Krishna answering 3 modes determine one's faith and worship, right? And he also concludes by saying the same, right, about faith. Food in the 3 modes, sacrifice in 3 modes, austerity in 3 modes, and 3 kinds of austerity, and charity again in the 3 modes. These are the things which he discussed. And how important is the word Om Tat Sat is, and that's to be offered to Krishna. So Krishna is the only receiver of the entire thing. So this is what he says, right? So with this we end the presentation. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna. Come on, all of you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Any doubts? Otherwise, we can go to the mind control, which we left half. We just do 2 times recording. I'll stop and start again. Hare Krishna.